So let's talk about how my income went from $15,000 a month to zero. All right, guys, we got to drink to this because this is the story of how PayPal indirectly got me into Bitcoin. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you guys how getting banned from PayPal was probably the most life-changing event that has ever happened to me. So late 2015 is the year that I quit my job working at a carrot factory to pursue my dream of traveling the world and supporting myself making money online. At the time, my plan was to sell small digital products that I would use my tiny 4,000 subscriber YouTube channel to market. And my first year was okay. I launched the Japan guide, which sold well. So next was the Thailand guide, which sold well. And 2016 was the very first year that I actually supported myself using the internet. Before that, it was all 9-to-5 jobs. So as years went by, I started to get more and more comfortable with what I was doing. And 2018 was the year that everything changed. So my whole life, I've never made a lot of money. Most of the jobs I've had paid between $300 to $500 a week. Starting at my first job working at GameStop, my second job working at a small computer store, my third job working at a hospital, and my fourth job working at a carrot factory. I've always been pretty happy with making about $2,000 a month. For me, that number is a wage that I could live on. So my standards for what I was aiming for weren't very high. 2016, I cleared $46,000. 2017, I cleared $63,000. 2017, I did about the same. And then 2018 was a very big year. In 2018, I cleared $130,000. Now, this was a lot of money for me. This was so much money, it started to change my self-image. So 2018, again, was a very crazy year because for whatever reason, my YouTube channel exploded. In addition to the channel, all my digital product sales exploded as well. And I remember watching this happen. I remember the first time I had ever made $10,000 in a month. It was really cool, but it didn't feel like it would ever last. So I was like, wow, that was cool, but I should keep saving my money. I've always been really big on saving my money because I don't know if you guys know this, but there's always been a part of me that feels like something bad's gonna happen. And I always feel a little bit like the things that I'm getting in life, I feel like I don't deserve them. I feel like I should save my money because when the inevitable happens, I'll have enough money to figure out what to do next. I remember watching my mom struggle her whole life due to living paycheck to paycheck, and there's something about that kind of made me think about money in a different way. I don't like watching my mom decide whether we should eat or have electricity, or borrowing money from some guy and then using it to pay another guy. And then, I remember watching a lot of that when I was growing up, and I've always felt like I should have a bit of money saved up so I never have to have that, I guess, right? So 2018 rolls around and my income starts to explode. I start making $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month, and my biggest month ever was $19,000 in a single month. When this started to get consistent, it really started to change the way I viewed myself. Growing up, in my mind, being the guy that can say he makes over $100,000 a year, that always felt like a big milestone. And I started to wonder, am I gonna become that guy? Because when it happens one month, it's awesome, but then it happens again. And then when it happens 9 months in a row consecutively, that you start to make $10,000 to $15,000 a month, it eventually will change your self-image. My self-esteem and my self-image started to change. I started to walk into the room with this feeling of yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy finally. It really was impactful. Now, All of this rapidly changed the day that I got a notification from PayPal telling me that my account has been limited. I remember that morning, I woke up, and again, I'm on top of the world. I'm pulling in tons of money. I felt like I was becoming a man almost. And I woke up, I opened PayPal, and I saw a red check mark over the notification bell, and I clicked it. Your account has been limited. My heart dropped. What? Why? Now, keep in mind, I was using PayPal to process payments for all of my websites, My Travel Toolkit, the Thailand Guide, the Japan Guide, the Vault. So I called PayPal, and they're like, yeah, you were kicked off PayPal for violating community guidelines. And I go, oh, okay, so what's the appeal process? Because I was happy to like delete an entire digital product. Like, I was happy to just do whatever they wanted. And they're like, oh, there is no appeal. And I go, okay, well, can you tell me which of my websites it was? And they're like, no. Like, I'm sure you guys have all experienced this, but when you're calling the number of a big tech company like Airbnb or PayPal or Uber, you will never get answers, ever. They're just like, yeah, you're off. I got banned from Airbnb a few years ago. I had no bad reviews. I just woke up, account banned. I called them, and they just said, we don't have any notes on file. You were banned for violating the terms of service. And I'm like, okay, but I have no bad reviews. Like, what did I do? And they're like, we don't know. I'm like, okay, wow, great. Getting banned off of PayPal when I was making that much money was unbelievably traumatizing to me. It felt like it was over. I thought, wow, like PayPal is how you accept money on the internet. There's no way around this. This is it. And I started thinking, like, do I have to get a job again? So I frantically signed up for other payment processors, and I signed up for Stripe, and I signed up for a bunch of other ones. And I remember during this moment, I started just thinking, you know what? This is BS. Now, the most brutal part of all of this was my vault, which is davidbondvideos.com. At the time, I had over 500 reoccurring payers every month who were paying between $17 and $27 a month. That's a lot of money. When my account got limited, it auto unsubscribed everybody. Now, it took years to build up that subscription list. So I remember when all of this was happening, I was very emotional and upset and confused. And that's when someone made a joke that changed my life. And he said, well, Dave, I guess you gotta start accepting Bitcoin. And his joke was like, oh, because your stuff is so dangerous, you gotta start using Bitcoin like on the dark web. Now, when he said that to me, I immediately said, okay, yeah, but how do I know I'm not gonna get banned from Bitcoin? And he goes, you can't. And in that moment, I was very open-minded to trying new ways of accepting payment. I had just had my entire life crumble before my eyes. My income went from $15,000 a month, steady, to zero. So at that moment, I was very emotional and very open-minded to trying really anything. You guys need to understand that in that moment, I was actually under the impression that I could have to start going back to work at the carrot factory. So I was willing to try anything. Now, I had a bit of money in savings, so it wasn't a big deal. But my income evaporated before my eyes. PayPal seized my money for 6 months. So in that moment, when he said, you can't get banned from Bitcoin, I go, I'm in. What is Bitcoin? How does this work? Now, what's funny is when my friend was telling me about Bitcoin and how you can't get banned from Bitcoin, I started to remember that there were people in the past who asked if they could buy my programs with Bitcoin. And I remember these emails, and I ended up pulling them up. I opened up my email and I typed in the word Bitcoin and read all the emails throughout the years of people asking if they could buy my programs with Bitcoin. And at the time, I didn't know what it was, so I just replied no. And I was like, why were they wanting to pay with Bitcoin? And it just got me thinking, like, so Bitcoin is like PayPal that you can't get banned from? Like, how does that work? And I started watching YouTube videos on it. And then I quickly discovered that you could start accepting payments just by installing a wallet. And I was like, hold on, whoa, because I had just finished trying to sign up for other payment processors. They wanted my first name, my last name, my social security, my address. They wanted copies of every single transaction I had ever processed on PayPal. It was the most invasive thing I had ever experienced. They were wanting to know everything about me. They wanted copies of passports. One of the payment processors even wanted to visit my house to verify office. In addition to that, they wanted like 10 to 20% of all my sales. So when I discovered that I could accept payments with a phone, with a wallet, with no sign up, no registration, no KYC, no ID, nothing. You just install the app and you show your QR code. I was like, whoa, like, is this gonna work? So all you need to accept a Bitcoin transaction is a picture of this. Just an address. That's it. No name, no ID, no bank account required. And that felt like the biggest breath of fresh air. It felt like an angel. I was like, because it was such a contrast to what I had been experiencing. Now, when I learned about Bitcoin, I still wasn't sure how I was supposed to process transactions. So how do I know what their email address was if all they did was send money to a QR code? Instead of trying to figure it out, I thought, you know what I'll try? Before I even go down this rabbit hole, why don't I just try to sell one of my digital products for Bitcoin and just see if anyone even wants to pay that way? So what I did was simply took a photo of this, took a screenshot, and uploaded a JPEG of my QR code on one of my digital products. Then I made a short video saying, hey guys, if you want to get access to the vault with Bitcoin, I'll give you guys lifetime access for just 50 bucks. Just to see if anyone would even do it. And to my surprise, a lot of people did. I ended up doing like 5 sales that way in the next 2 days. So here I was looking at my phone, seeing these transactions. People had been sending me Bitcoin through a QR code, through a JPEG. I didn't have to sign up for anything. I didn't have to sign up for a bank. I didn't have to, like, it was literally, I took a screenshot of a picture and then uploaded a JPEG to the website. I didn't have to do anything. And suddenly I had money in my phone. The next problem I had was, okay, this is fun, but now what do I do with this? Can I spend it on anything? And that's when I quickly discovered Purse.io, which is a website that allows you to buy anything on Amazon with Bitcoin. So I thought, okay, I got this Bitcoin, I might as well try it. My first purchase to test this was I bought a 6-pack of Starbucks iced coffee. And again, I just wanted to buy something small just as a test because I wasn't really sold on the idea that this worked. So when I used my first Bitcoin to buy coffee on Purse, I remember sitting there thinking, I just processed a payment with a JPEG. No name, no bank, no questions. And it just started to hit me like, what? Like, even to this day, it's like, what? You know, I don't even know who they are, because most people who are into crypto don't use their real name, and there's no way for me to even know their real name. They sent value from their phone to a JPEG, and that JPEG bounced the money to my phone. And then I took my phone and then sent my value to a JPEG and then converted it into iced coffee. Like, no bank, no name, no third party, no permission. Nobody even knows it happened. I was hooked. I was completely hooked. And that's when I had a thought. What if I launched a digital product that you could only buy with Bitcoin? What if I made a digital product that I know would probably get me banned from PayPal, but it doesn't matter because I don't even accept dollars. I'm not even using Visa. I'm using Bitcoin. And that's when I launched the digital pickup. Many of you may not know this, But the entire premise of the digital pickup was to see if I could survive living on Bitcoin only, because I have been bracing myself for a future in which I get banned from YouTube, from PayPal, from everything. I've been banned from Tinder, from Airbnb, Wistia, Vimeo. I mean, I've been banned from a lot of stuff. MailChimp, Advanced Campaign. So the digital pickup was an experiment. Could I launch a product and not accept money for it? Could I launch a product and only accept cryptocurrency? And the experiment was a success. I made a lot of sales with the digital pickup, and I earned quite a bit of cryptocurrency. I earned a bit of Bitcoin, a bit of Bitcoin Cash, a bit of Litecoin, Ethereum. It's funny because the day that I got banned from PayPal, I thought was the worst day of my life. And looking back, it probably was the best. It's no surprise that cryptocurrency right now is exploding. And my net worth has gone up by 500% in just the last 12 months. It's crazy to think that in a weird way, PayPal might make me a millionaire. Getting banned from PayPal, having my income stolen from me, having my money seized was the catalyst for getting into Bitcoin. Now, the story doesn't end there, because in the same way that PayPal is what got me into Bitcoin, Bitcoin is what got me into Bitcoin Cash. Now, for those of you who don't know what Bitcoin Cash is, it's basically an upgraded version of Bitcoin. Anyone who's ever tried to use Bitcoin will quickly realize that the fees on Bitcoin are very high and the transactions are very slow. At the time of recording this video, the average, not the highest, the average fee on Bitcoin is $15. So that means if you wanted to send your friend $5 in Bitcoin, it would cost you $15 just to send it to him. And then once he gets it, he won't even have enough money in the wallet to send the $5 to anyone else, so it's stuck. Now, you can lower your fee with Bitcoin. The downside is the person receiving may not get that Bitcoin for hours, days, or weeks. Now, Bitcoin Cash fixes all of this. It's basically instant, and the fees are normally less than a penny. Long story short, I ended up going down this big rabbit hole, and I quickly realized that Bitcoin Cash probably has a better future than Bitcoin. As you guys know, cryptocurrency is exploding, but the number of people who are aware of the fact that Bitcoin is very, very, very difficult to use, almost impossible to use. The number of people that are even aware of this issue is basically nobody. Most people only use Bitcoin for the sole purpose of selling it for more paper money. Now, in my case, I had no intention of ever selling it, only spending it. For me, Bitcoin Cash made perfect sense. Well, of course. Why would I want to spend $15 every time I spend my own money? My discovery of the Bitcoin Cash community ended up being a snowball effect, because people discovered that I was a YouTuber, and I ended up getting invited to do podcasts. People started reaching out to me, and the whole experience was just really cool. I ended up meeting really interesting people, and now it just feels, I don't know, it's just now that things have come full circle. So this entire journey has been very exciting for me. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and for the first time in a while, I've felt excited. As you guys know, I've been through a lot. I've had big channels make fun of me, make videos about me. I've been on the news like 45 different times. I've had all kinds of scandals. I've had petitions against me. And on the flip side, I've had people tell me that I changed their life. I've had people crying on a Zoom call telling me that a video changed everything for them. I've experienced a lot of cool things, and I've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but Bitcoin and what it promises, there's something about it that just, I don't know, it's so exciting to me, and I feel like I want to share that with Everybody. The idea that you can have money without a bank, the idea that you can store your value in a blockchain that no one can take, that no government can seize. The idea that human beings can trade freely over the internet anonymously using cryptocurrency and no one can stop it. The idea that PayPal no longer has any power over you as long as you know how to open a wallet, upload a JPEG. All right, guys, so if you guys have any questions or comments, shoot them down below. Don't forget to sign up for the David Bond Telegram. That's where I'm most active, davidbondtelegram.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.